Is Drake Bell okay? What did Bella Hadid say about Ariana Grande? And why are Taylor Swift fans dragging Starbucks? Stick with me guys, because I'm gonna answer all the questions in this video. Okay, so let's talk about what's been going on with Drake Bell. Yesterday he was declared missing and endangered by police. He was then found the following day and claimed that he just left his phone in the car for the night and that's why he wasn't answering. He insisted that he was totally fine. But this whole incident has got people wondering, is Drake Bell really okay? The disgraced Nickelodeon star has fans worried with his recent antics. In December, Drake was spotted inhaling substances out of a balloon while his son was in the backseat of his car. Eyewitnesses said that he was inflating and deflating the balloon for more than half an hour while his son seemed to be asleep. A couple weeks later, he checked into rehab to try and get treatment for his addiction. Soon after that, his wife of 5 years announced that she was leaving him and moving to Florida with their son. Jeanette von Schmeling revealed that she was filing for divorce, and a source told Page Six that she had enough of her husband's antics. Quote, "They have some incredible, beautiful times before. He needs to focus on being healthy, and they'll be great co-parents in the future." For a lot of fans, the unraveling of Drake's public persona was very upsetting to see. During his Nickelodeon days, his future seemed so promising. He made a name for himself on hit shows like Drake and Josh, which ended up being one of the most popular shows on the network. It ran for 4 seasons and 56 episodes between 2004 and 2007. But once that finished, his acting career kind of stalled. He tried to focus his energy on other things like doing voiceovers for animated shows and his singing career, but none of that ever really took off. Then in his early 20s, he started making headlines for issues in his personal life rather than his acting career. And by his late 20s, he was well and truly on a downward spiral. It turned out that the money he made from Nickelodeon didn't last, and in 2014 he filed for bankruptcy, claiming that he owed $581,000 to creditors. He listed his assets as a $1.5 million home, but he said that he owed $1.59 million on the property. At the time, he said he was only pulling in around $2,820 a month. 1 year later, Drake was arrested for a DUI. In that case, he pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor and spent 4 days in jail. Then in 2017, he publicly dragged his co-star Josh Peck when he found out that he wasn't invited to his wedding. Even though the two of them hadn't spoken for 10 years, Drake angrily texted him on his wedding day and called him out on Twitter. He wrote, "When you're not invited to the wedding, the message is clear, and loyalty is key. Always remember where you came from." The whole thing was incredibly embarrassing, and fans had no idea that they had even lost touch. Some of them took their anger out on Josh before he came through with the real story. After all, why would he invite someone to his wedding that he no longer speaks to? Things only got worse for Drake from that point on. In 2020, his ex-girlfriend of 3 years claimed that he was verbally and physically violent towards her when they were in a relationship. Melissa Lingerfeld posted a TikTok video explaining that his behavior started about a year into their relationship, and at the pinnacle of it, he kicked her down the stairs of their house. She came through with photos of her injuries, and another one of Drake's ex-girlfriends ended up supporting her claim. For his part, the actor denied the allegations and said that she was bringing it up for money and attention. But this controversy only tarnished his reputation further. Around that same time, Drake had fans confused by rebranding as a Spanish language singer and moving to Mexico. He even went as far as changing his name to Drake Campana, which is the Spanish word for bell. Although a lot of people thought it was a joke, his Spanish songs were actually pretty successful on Spotify. For a while, it seemed like he was going to become very popular in the Latin American market, but Drake just couldn't keep his nose clean. In July of 2021, he pled guilty to a felony charge of endangerment and a misdemeanor charge of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. A young woman came forward and accused him of being a creep and trying to meet up with her when she was very young. They had been communicating for several months, and he would often send her salacious messages and eventually convinced her to come to one of his concerts. It was then that he touched her without consent. If you look into the full details of the case, it's actually pretty sickening. Thankfully, she kept all the messages that he sent her as evidence, and she was able to bring a solid case against him. For this incident, Drake was sentenced to 2 years probation and 200 hours of community service. He completed his probation recently, but at this point, any kind of career comeback is pretty much out of the question. And that makes perfect sense. I mean, not everyone deserves to have a comeback, especially after everything that he's done. But no matter how you feel about him, it's just sad to see how far he's fallen since his days on Nickelodeon. Okay, moving on. Bella Hadid has now addressed Ariana Grande's TikTok video. She shared the video onto her own Instagram and wrote, "You never know what someone is dealing with, mentally or physically. Disease or depression, grief or heartache. You just don't, and you never will until until you walk a day in their shoes. Instead of unsolicited advice or opinions, judgment or aggression, just try to offer a helping hand and be kind. There is always a reason for the way people look/feel, so try to be soft, especially when you don't know someone or what they've been through. Bella went on to say that Instagram is not real and we need to look deeper and consciously remind ourselves that each of us are just human and trying our best. So next time someone wants to write a nasty article to make fun or a mean comment to get some likes, just remember that. She said that if someone wants to talk badly about another person, they need to remove themselves from the conversation. Bella ended the post by saying, "It's so much cooler to be kind. Love you guys, love you Ari. This is so important, I'm very proud of you. It will help so many people." Over the years, she has continually found herself on the receiving end of criticism from those who believe she looks too thin. These negative comments came flooding in shortly after Love magazine posted a video of her wearing a revealing one-piece bathing suit. In the clip, Bella opened up about her changing body image. She said, "Growing up, I definitely was not the most confident person. I kind of was always searching, so I guess when I felt the most beautiful was very recently, in the past 2 years, when my health was at its best." But the internet was quick to disagree with her, and one user even commented and said that she was talking about self-acceptance as she's withering away to bones. Many blame the modeling industry for their beauty standards and called it barbaric and disgusting. Another person claimed that Bella was sending an extremely unhealthy message to impressionable young girls, and basically blaming her for looking the way she did in that swimsuit. After the backlash, she later posted a photo on Instagram with a caption addressing all the assumptions about her health. She explained that all body types are different and react differently to a great workout routine and a healthy diet, but of course that wasn't enough to silence the speculation around her appearance. More recently, she was accused of getting plastic surgery and various cosmetic procedures done to her face. When everyone started talking about buccal fat removal, she was somehow dragged into that conversation. This is the procedure of removing fat from cheeks in order to attain a more toned and hollowed out look. Even though Bella never admitted to having it done, fans pointed to her old photos as evidence that her face has been surgically altered. Many insisted that she underwent a facial sculpting procedure and had dermal fillers to enhance the shape of her cheeks and jawline. This was said to have happened somewhere around 2017. While it's true that Bella's face has changed a lot since her early days in the spotlight, she continually denied rumors of going under the knife. Back in 2018, she told InStyle, "People think I got all this surgery or did this or that. And you know what? We can do a scan of my face. I'm scared of putting fillers into my lips. I wouldn't want to mess up my face." Then in 2022, she ended up admitting that she had a nose job when she was just 14 years old, and said that she now regrets the decision because she might have grown into it. Bella also felt like she lost a physical connection to her heritage. Her father is Palestinian Jordanian, while her mother is Dutch. Because of the nose job, she said she had no idea what she could have looked like as an adult. Although she was praised for her honesty, fans were also a little frustrated that she took so long to fess up to it. The 26-year-old model has recently been dealing with health problems of her own, so that's why she was unable to attend the latest Vogue cover shoot, because she said she wasn't feeling well enough. In recent years, she's been very open about her battle with Lyme disease, which she first contracted in 2012 at the age of 16. In the years since, the disease has left her bedridden, hospitalized, and regularly requiring IV drips. Bella calls it the invisible disease, and explained that she feels symptoms every day like difficulty walking, joint pain, and nausea. Unfortunately, it's a chronic illness that she's had to deal with long term, but so far she's done an amazing job of bringing awareness to the disease and educating her followers about its effects on everyday life. Next up, why are Taylor Swift fans dragging Starbucks? The coffee shop chain is now facing backlash after one of their cafes sold a line of drinks that were inspired by her ex-boyfriends. They referenced Taylor's most recent breakup with Joe Alwyn by making a controversial drinks menu. And yes, all of the drinks were named after her ex-boyfriends. The menu was called "Which Taylor Swift Ex Are You?" and it features names like Harry Styles, Joe Jonas, Tom Hiddleston, Taylor Lautner, John Mayer, and Jake Gyllenhaal. It didn't take long before photos of the board went viral and fans were understandably upset. Many of them took to Twitter to call Starbucks out. One person wrote, "This is so gross, WTF?" And Starbucks is always at the scene of the crime when it comes to capitalizing off of misogyny. Another user said, "Sexist, because if this was a man we were talking about, no one would care. But because it's Taylor Swift, they feel the need to do this." If you're wondering why this is such a big deal, it's because she's constantly faced public scrutiny for simply being in the public eye and dating at the same time. She since explained that she gets an unreasonable amount of hate for supposedly having a long list of ex-lovers, which is actually just a normal amount of people. Taylor has also called out the double standards for men and women when it comes to writing songs about love. She says she's been judged for using her relationships as inspiration for her songs. In response, response, she said, "Find me a time when they say that about a male artist. Be careful, girl, he'll use this experience with you to get, God forbid, inspiration to make art." So there is a long history there when it comes to Taylor Swift being shamed for dating and putting those experiences into her music. That's why people were so outraged at the Starbucks menu, because it represents those same sexist attitudes towards female artists. But there were also those defending the coffee chain and the employees who wrote it. Someone tweeted, "I think that Starbucks are franchises and baristas are encouraged to get creative with recommended drink boards. And even though this was in bad taste, it does not reflect the company as a whole." Other people brought up the possibility that the employee who wrote it was probably just a fan and they didn't have any bad intentions. After all, those menus are obviously customizable, so it wasn't an official advertisement brought up by the Starbucks marketing team. But it wasn't long before the company heard the criticism and their official Twitter account released a statement. They wrote, "Thank you for bringing this to our attention. This certainly doesn't uphold our mission and values, and the sign has been taken down by the store." So even if the person who wrote it meant no harm, they obviously decided that it was just too controversial to keep up. So what do you guys think about this latest story? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.